Hello everyone, this is my response video to a thread started by Darren from Real Talk Yorkshire. Yeah, really good channel. Quite new to the scene. Yeah, good taste in films. Seems a really decent guy. Good sort of delivery style, very engaging. Quite funny as well. Yeah, a lot of sort of similar tastes in films to me and probably a lot of you lot. So yeah, before I sort of start this, I will preface it by saying go and subscribe to Darren. His channel is growing considering I think he's only been on YouTube like a month or so, but I think he's already over 50 subscribers. Um, yeah, known him for a little while. I think Stuart George from Stuart George's Home Movies sort of recommended him to a few people in the community and like shared his post. Yeah, it's not really a tag kind of thing. Anyone could do the response. So yeah, I've not been tagged. I'm doing it. He did say if you do a response, sort of tag him or comment on his thing to let him know it's up in case he's not subscribed to you. He won't know. I think a few people have done it. So I've seen Ash from Popcorn and Horrors response, really good. Ash out walking around trying to jump into ditches, and then Roy's done a response, really good response from Roy. Some interesting answers. Um, Hopefully, I'll keep this video short. Yeah, I reckon I'll do this in half the time of Roy's. So less waffle, more conciseness. Yeah, so Darren's come up with these questions. Yeah, really good thread he started. I guess starting threads at this to help people's channel. So yeah, I guess tip to people if you're new, do like Darren's doing, start a good thread, engage people in the community, get sort of conversation going. People will then go and watch your video, subscribe to you. Yeah, so he's already ingratiated himself into the community. Right, I've got the films here. I mean, I've got one choice for each, but a few's kind of going to have a bit of a caveat, or I'll speak about other sort of things. So, first question: what film made you? Sorry, I've got the list over here. If you wonder why I'm looking out of frame, what film made you fall in love with movies? This is kind of tough because I wouldn't say it was one particular film. A bit like Ash when I was real young. Labyrinth, we had it on VHS. Used to watch it when I went around with my cousins. Watched it at home. Um, Knew nearly every line of dialogue. In fact, my best mate at the time, his sister, literally knew every single line, not just in order, but you could be like, what does the Goblin King say at 30 minutes and 4 seconds? And she'd know. Yeah, that's one of the earliest films I remember watching, really enjoying, literally watching it hundreds of times. But I was only about 4 years old, so I can't say I went seeking out more cinema from that. Um, Jurassic Park at the cinema, big kind of life changing sort of movie theatre experience. But I'd say the film that I watched that not only had a lasting impact on me in terms of terrified me of going in the water. You can probably already tell what this is. But yeah, when I watched Labyrinth and when I was like 4, I didn't really understand what film. Obviously, I knew it wasn't real and these goblins weren't real, although I did find a few scenes a bit scary. But yeah, kind of knew it was a film, but I didn't know what a film was and that they recorded it on a camera. Whereas when I first watched this, probably about before Jurassic Park, I think Jurassic Park, I seen it at the cinema when I was 9, so I must have seen this at like 7 or 8 years old around a friend's house. A bit too young maybe, but not only it left an impression because it was kind of scared me and that, but I think it was the first time when we were watching it and my mate was getting scared. Then his mum came in and was like, "This isn't real. It's like film." So she's like, "The news where they film him talking," and she's like, "It's kind of like that. It's all special effects." And that was when I kind of piqued my interest. Yeah, about 7 into thinking, oh, there's more films out there. Films aren't real; they're made. That someone must write them, design them. People are acting in them. Yeah, once I went on to like buy films off my own back at 7, but then I did start to sort of talk to people in the playground and be like, "Oh, what other films have you watched?" And I heard the name of like Predator, Terminator, watched those, RoboCop when I was very young, and probably shouldn't have, but my parents used to let me watch anything. You could argue it hasn't affected me in any way. I'm not sure on that, but yeah, I'd say this is the one that kind of really got me into film. Is Jaws. Might as well put these down. I don't know why I'm holding them all in a pile. Right. Next question. DVD you have had. Oh, I can't even say it. DVD you have had in your collection the longest. Um, I had one or two longer than this one, but I traded them in years ago once I'd upgraded them. So yeah, remember. Hard to remember the exact first one I ever bought, or first few. Um, yeah, I think I bought Vipco, The Mutilator, and Zombie Flesh Eaters. They were just like the plain black kind of case. Yeah, must have got those. Yeah, about the year 2000, I'm guessing. I think I had VHSs and things before that. I didn't think I really bought them myself. It's ones we'd get for Christmas and things. Um, Labyrinth on DVD I bought very early on. Can't remember exactly, but I think maybe those couple of horrors. Yeah, for a while I kind of wanted to get some films, and sounds weird say we didn't really know where to buy them. I don't even know if HMV was in like Bristol and Bath at the time, but there was a shop in Bath called Fop, I think, when that first opened, and me and my mate went in there, I think, to buy sort of CDs, like music, like hip hop CDs and things. And then I looked and I was like, wow, all these video nasties that I used to rent when I was a kid from the video shop are ones I'd look at the cover and think were interesting, but wasn't allowed to rent, are now available to buy. So yeah, I bought those, but obviously as I got Zombie Flesh Eaters on 4K, and I sort of traded them in. I think I did get quite a lot for them, being as they were Vipco. But this, I think, is probably the one I think I've maybe had the longest. I had a look through the collection, but yeah, it's hard to remember with things it is. But this originally got released in 2002. I've had this copy since it came out in 2002 as Brain Dead, one of my favourite films ever, my second or third favourite horror. So The Thing, Shining, this, Alien, if you count as a horror, definitely in my top 5. But yeah, just such a fun comedic splatter film by Peter Jackson, who went on to do Lord of the Rings. I know people in the community aren't a fan of this, so maybe you'll prefer Brain Dead. But yeah, considering the budget, how long ago it is, it's not only well done for me, it is genius, it is funny, great soundtrack, amazing gore, the goriest film I've ever seen. It's all done tongue-in-cheek, so although it's quite brutal, you kind of laugh at it. It's not done in a disturbing way. But yeah, this copy was released in 2002, so I think I've had this one 24 years or so. So yeah, pretty sure that's like maybe not the first one I bought, but the first one I've still got in the collection. Right, question 3: film you didn't like on first viewing? I wouldn't say I hated it, but I found it quite slow and boring. Then when I rewatched it years later, it went up in my estimations a lot. There are other films I didn't really get on with on a first viewing, but I kind of traded them in or watched them again and still didn't really grow on me. So in terms of, yeah, one that didn't really get on with, watched it again and went up a lot in my estimations, is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. So this is the Eureka Classics. It's got a Blu-ray and a DVD. Yeah, I think this is well out of print and worth quite a lot of money. It's about a serial killer set in Texarkana in America. I don't think this killer was ever caught. There's a crazy scene with is it a trumpet or trombone killed by Brastoff. I think they've done a remake of this, which actually might be quite good, but I've not seen the remake. But yeah, when I first watched this, I did find it slow. I don't think it's that long a film. Is it like an hour, 2 hours max? Can't seem to find the running time as normal, but yeah, I don't think it's that long. I think, yeah, sometimes you're just, I've watched a film in the past when I was feeling quite ill and you ain't kind of enjoying it, hard to take it in, or, say you've got something on your mind and you can't focus, you might watch the whole film, not really take it in, watch it again years later when you're in a good place and really enjoy it. But yeah, I'd say that Town That Dreaded Sundown one, I wouldn't say I hated it, but didn't love it and went up in my expectations. Number 4 is a good soundtrack, though the film is not very well known. So I have sort of spoke about this a few times on the channel, showed it on a recent watches in the last couple of months, is Paper House, directed by Bernard Rose before he went on to do Candyman. Candyman, an amazing soundtrack, but I think everyone knows that. But not only a good soundtrack, but the music is by Hans Zimmer. I think maybe it's the first soundtrack Hans Zimmer did, as this has got to be 89, I want to say. See if I can find a release on it. No, I can't. But yeah, I think Candyman was 93, so I'm guessing this was like 91 at the earliest. Why don't just say a date on the back of it? Yeah, it doesn't seem to. Let me know if you know, but yeah, really good ambient kind of score, quite sort of synth heavy, melodic. I'm sure everyone knows Hans Zimmer and the work he went on to do, so I'm sure it's not that surprising that. Yeah, let me know if you know if this is the first film he, scored, did the music too. But yeah, even though I've always liked this, I kind of forgot it was Hans Zimmer. So when I went back and watched it recently, I was like, wow, that's quite a coup, getting Hans Zimmer to do a film this early. And yeah, guessing it's Bernard Rose's first film. Yeah, still can't see a date. I think Candyman was 93, I want to say 94. So yeah, guessing this was probably between 89 and 92 or so. Paper House, but yeah, really good soundtrack score, whatever you call it. A remake that I prefer to the original. So as people know, I absolutely love John Carpenter's The Thing, my favourite film ever. Bad to say, I do own The Thing from Another World, but I haven't actually got around to watching it yet, so I don't think I'm going to watch it and prefer it to the John Carpenter's version, but I've heard it's a good classic solid film, so yeah, until I watch that, I can't really say for definite that I prefer John Carpenter's version, although I do expect that. But yeah, this for me is way better than the original. The Hills Have Eyes. There's quite a few sort of horrors actually. I think some are really good remakes. I really enjoy the Evil Dead remake. Wouldn't say it's better than the original. Very different, a lot more serious and some sort of more realistic gore and things. But the original was more of a fun film, and for Sam Raimi at such a young age to have such inventive camera angles and be such a sort of assured director at that age is very impressive. Yeah, it's quite a few. Dare I say, I probably prefer the Friday the 13th remake to the first few Friday the 13th films. As you said a few times, I'm not a biggest fan of the Friday the 13th franchise, but yeah, the original Hills Have Eyes. I like it. It's okay. I won't say it's hokey, but it's quite dated. Probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Whereas yeah, this I do think improves upon it in every way. More brutal, more disturbing, more realistic, more sort of character development. Special effects and things look better. A bit more mean spirited. Yeah, I would say that is a remake I prefer to the original. Film that genuinely scares me. I'm not just sort of trying to say it to be tough. Not many films, some when I'm watching The Conjuring 1 or especially Part 2, there are some moments in that where as I'm watching it, I'm kind of wrapped up in it and I find it tense and creepy, and I know the scares coming and it still might make me jump. But in terms of films that would play on my mind or affect me after, yeah, ghosts, demons, monsters, I don't really believe in any of that. So Home Invasions I was thinking of for a few, but I'd have to go for this. Not just the actual film itself, I find very unsettling and disturbing, very realistic, but it does sort of play on your mind, and this could happen. And it's always been relevant. Obviously, when this was first made, I'll show you it. Fred's is only the DVD. The Blu-ray is way out of print. I think it's like £25 in CEX, and that's if you can find it. And it's not a cover reprint. At the time it was released, I guess it was during the height of the Cold War, and people were expecting a nuclear fallout imminently. So it rose a lot of fear. And then every decade since, really, unfortunately, powers in the world have been threatening each other. But I guess now with what's going on in sort of with America and Iran and China, Russia, everybody having nuclear arms, and Trump trying to sort of start a world war, it seems. I won't go into politics too much. This is as relevant as ever. I mean, when will this not be relevant? Hopefully there'll be a day when we don't fear nuclear war. But when you see this, you're like, you imagine having a nuclear bomb dropped on you wouldn't be nice, and dying at the epicenter of it would probably be the blessing rather than surviving after. As yeah, obviously there's no water, everything's polluted, there's like no sun, the survivors are all mutated, they have to like rob each other in order to like get some food. Yeah, they're just living in an apocalypse. But yeah, this literally gives me shivers up my spine. Don't know if you can see her on the back, but there's just a bit when a shell-shocked woman, she's like got sort of, rubble and dust all over her face. She's holding a baby. And that bit, yeah, the face she makes just, yeah, literally gives me a shiver up my spine. But yeah, I do find this one probably the scariest, yeah, films for me. I mean, I could have went with Jaws. I still won't want to go swimming in the deep ocean since watching Jaws. Yeah, a few home invasion ones. I do believe, Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer, some nutter could break into your house and kill you. But yeah, for me, this has got to be sort of the most realistic film that I think could genuinely come to pass. Fingers crossed it doesn't. What film makes me hungry? This was quite an easy choice, really. No, I'm joking. Cannibal Holocaust. I've got a real one here. I say hungry, it doesn't make me hungry in terms of my belly's rumbling, but it does put me in the mood to eat a certain kind of food, namely confectionery. It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Not only a classic, one of my favourite films ever, one of my favourite family films, but yeah, not only so colourful and all the sort of food and that looks good, but obviously after like an hour and a half of seeing like streams made of chocolate, flowers made of sweets, I'm not sure everybody, I mean, you can see a lot of it on the front. I'm not the biggest sort of sweet and chocolate eater. I try to eat quite healthy, but once a week I have like a cheat day where I do eat a few naughty things. But yeah, I remember being a kid watching this around Christmas, just seeing all the sort of confectionery and sweets would really get me in the mood to, on Christmas Eve, we get a stocking with like chocolate and things in, and I'd be like ramped up ready for it after watching this. But yeah, if I was to go and watch it now, when I say hungry, yeah, not like say Ash chose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where pizza is a filling food, but yeah, I couldn't say when I've eaten sweets and chocolate in the past, it's actually filled me up or satiated me in the way a meal would. But it, yeah, there's so many sort of delightful looking candies and things in this that it does get me wanting to eat some nice treats. So yeah, that's the one I would say film that makes me hungry. So yeah, that's all my choices. So what film made me fall in love with movies? A few, but I'd kind of say Jaws. DVD I've had the longest, I'd have to say Brain Dead. Film you didn't like on first viewing, I didn't hate it, but found it slow, was The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Good soundtrack to the film is not very well known. Paper House with Hans Zimmer doing the soundtrack, directed by Bernard Rose. A remake I prefer to the original, Hills Have Eyes. A film that genuinely scares me, Freds. What film makes me hungry? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So yeah, great. Fred started by Darren. I'm going to check out everyone that's taken part. So even if I'm sub to you and I'm busy and I haven't sort of seen you've done a response, if you do watch my video, drop in the comments you've done a response and I'll go and check it. And yeah, I'll tag you or comment Darren. Great Fred, you started. Yeah, everyone go and subscribe to Darren, Ash, Popcorn and Horror, Roy, Blue Roy Movies, anyone else I've mentioned. It's quite a short video for me. I was hoping I'd do it a bit less than this, but I waffled on for longer than normal, as most people expect. Right, thank you everybody for watching. Goodbye.